The absolute best cushion in a Curry since the Curry 6 and the best overall performing Curry by far. This is the Curry brand Curry 12. Hey, what's going on, guys? My name's Chris. Welcome back to the official WearTesters.com YouTube channel. Today we got a detailed look and performance review on the Curry brand Curry 12. This particular colorway is of the USA variety, the one that he won the gold medal in. There's two colorways that are both USA themed. There's the white-based colorway and then the navy-based colorway. Real quick, before we get into all of that stuff, I did want to give just a quick shout out, not only to this brand, but also Adidas as well. And I know that they have nothing to do with any of this stuff, but both of those brands have put out the USA versions of their respective signature sneakers. Where's the rest of them? It's one of the things that I feel like disconnects LeBron from every other athlete out there, is that the guy will only wear what you can't. It makes people not want to buy his shoes because you can't actually buy his shoes. Again, that's a side note, neither here nor there. This is about this shoe. And I just got to say, performance-wise, man, holy crap. These blew my mind. I did not think that they were going to be much of anything different than what we've gotten since, you know, the Curry 8s, which were the first flow model. So traction obviously does not look any different than it has in the past. This is something that I do think is funny because we actually just asked this question previously in the Kobe 9 Protro, Elite, Protro Low, whatever. We asked in that video, should brands reuse their elite or most elite performing traction setups? And the majority of people, at least when it comes to Nike products, say yes. However, when it comes to Curry products, apparently that's a big no. People are sick of this. How? I don't know. This right here is elite. If you're only worried about performance, then you have nothing to worry about. Like, this right here is great. On top of that, this is just a slightly different setup than what we've gotten in the past. Even though it's very similar to what we got last season with the Curry 11s, it's still a little bit different, which I found personally really interesting. Again, when I got these in, I thought that it was just going to be much of the same. I was like, cool, I'm going to get elite traction, I'm going to get firm cushion, and we're going to be good to go. That's not what I got. I did get elite traction, but I will say that this is maybe like too elite. Like, this is almost pop your hip out traction. This stuff is crazy. I don't know what exactly they did to the flow compound, but they did tweak it. I did speak with someone from the design team and they confirmed my thoughts, which you don't even need confirmation like from somebody official. Get the shoe in hand. You can just feel it. This is different stuff. Even though it is the same stuff, it's just compounded a little bit different. So the ratios are slightly altered. It's that whole science aspect of footwear that I fucking love. So yeah, not only are you going to receive elite level traction with the Curry 12, but it might be a tad better than the elite stuff that you maybe are already accustomed to. Is it going to be durable outdoors? Of course not, man. These are made for indoor shoes. This is the one thing that I wish that people would take into consideration. And I will throw in the Nike Kobe 9 on this one too, because I see similar comments where it's like people say that that shoe sucks because it's not durable outdoors. It's like, well, the Kobe 9 is made for indoors. Same thing goes here. People say that this setup sucks because it's not durable outdoors, and it's like, bro, it's made for indoors. If you want shoes that are durable for outdoor, I say this all the time, but go retro, dude. Grab a pair of 13s, grab a pair of Jordan 12s, a pair of Kobe 1 Protros, if you can find them for a decent price. You can even go with an older Curry, like the Curry 2, because yes, they retro those. So yeah, if you're looking for durability, go retro. Now, in terms of cushion, again, this all ties into the same flow system, where it is flow, but it's dual density, very much like it was last season with the Curry 11s, but it's been tweaked. Tweaked in what way? In a weird way. When I put these on, I thought that this was almost an ETPU. It had a little bit of bounce to it. It was weird. It is very much not like my past experiences with every other flow model. Initially, I was thinking that it was the dual density setup, because if you see on the bottom here, there's that little red circle that's poking through. That is the additional foam that is in there, and that's way softer than it was last season. But that's not the only thing that changed. It was actually the, I don't know what you would call this, the flow cage or whatever, the main body of the midsole and outsole. That's different too, and you can feel it. Not only did it grip the floor better, but it just had better bounce back in terms of underfoot cushion. This, my friends, is the best cushioned Curry since the Curry 6, and those were awesome. But anyways, this had a great balanced setup of both cushion and court feel. It was really good to have because it's something that I personally am not expecting with Currys. I'm expecting nothing but court feel, and this was just a very nice surprise. If you've tried flow before and you did not like it, I would say try this one. Now, the materials are where things are very much the same, and I don't mean in terms of like the last year model, but I'm just talking about in the category overall, the category of basketball footwear, where it's just a Ton of textiles, man. It's all engineered mesh. It kind of has this felt feeling to it. It's very interesting. Do I like it? For performance? Sure, why not? Is it my favorite thing? Of course it isn't. I'm old school. I like the leathers, I like nubucks, suedes, things like that. Luckily, these actually have a little bit of that. On the toe, you actually have a little panel of suede, and they also use that right there in the rear. And while that has absolutely nothing to do with performance, I just like that it's there, man. I like that they put that on there. It's like, hey, we can put a little bit something extra on here, and so we will. But the materials themselves feel broken in right from the jump. As soon as you pull them out of the box, they are soft, they're malleable, they're breathable on top of that. One area that I will definitely critique though, just because it was such a weird move, is the tongue. It's kind of this like neoprene feeling material. It's got nice padding in there, and it's got all of these little what look like perforation holes, but they're not perforated. So that was the one thing where I was like, why did you do that? Like, why didn't you complete the task by actually, I don't know, punching holes through that? Can you do that on your own? Yes, you can. Should you have to? No. So while the main body material is decently breathable, it would have just upped the breathability factor had they actually like made those holes that are along the tongue actually holes. Now the overall fit is true to size. Whatever you typically wear with your curries, that's exactly what I would go with. If you're a wide footer, I'd say try them on. They might be kind of accommodating, but only you can really decide that. It depends on how wide your foot actually is. Some people have like very minimal width. Some people have extreme width. Some people even have high insteps or arches. So that can mess with the top of the fit and the feel. But yeah, I thought that the fit and overall lockdown was good. I thought that it was a little bit better than last year's model, even though they're very similarly shaped, but I just felt more secure in these than I did in last year's shoe. And I love the ankle collar, I love the fit, I love the way that it allows for range of motion, but it also scoops away from the back of the foot, so it's not pressing against my Achilles. This is something that I've been having a big problem with lately. My Achilles are just really tight and tender. It makes me sound kind of soft, honestly.
Or like a piece of chicken.
I was gonna say I'm not really soft, I'm just old, you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, that sucks. But there's so many shoes with great sculpting in the rear, but it just is a little bit too great where it presses into that area of my feet and it really hurts. Certain shoes are just not compatible. The one that's like coming to mind right off the bat is the Jaw 1. That shoe is just so snug around that section of my foot that it makes them damn near unwearable. For me personally, I'm not saying that's a bad shoe, it's a moderate shoe. I almost forgot, the insole is very basic. It's just an open-celled foam. It's mainly for stepping comfort. It's really nothing special. Underneath that is some additional foam, which is not uncommon anymore, at least nowadays. So again, that's also for some stepping comfort. If you needed an insole that had more support in there, you can always take this insole out and replace it with anything else that you'd like, whether that be an orthotic or not. However, I will say that the support in the shoe is fantastic. So the forefoot section of the Curry 11 had additional like bars in there, like it's something that you can't see. We were actually shown this in our WearTesters podcast, so we'll pull some footage and you'll probably see it right now. But those same support plates that were in the forefoot of that shoe are in this shoe again. So in that sense, lateral support is phenomenal. On top of that, you have a midfoot support plate that's already in there. You have a sidewall support plate, something that I wish was on the Air Jordan 39. And then on top of all of that stuff, the midsole sculpting is fantastic. The rear in the heel, as well as the lateral forefoot section where there's traditionally an outrigger, they actually wrap up and around your foot. So you're completely caged and secured in this sneaker right here. It doesn't matter what you're doing, this thing is not going anywhere. You're gonna feel one-to-one with the shoe and it's amazing. On top of that, it is wide. It's a nice wide setup. It's very flat as well, so stability is on point. If you're a shooter or if you're a ball handler and you appreciate those aspects within your footwear, this is gonna be a great shoe for you. And then in the rear, we have this external heel counter right here that just looks awesome. I love the way that they've done this. It reminds me of a Kobe. I like the mold that's in there as well, where it features the Roman numeral of the model. It's just a slick setup all the way around it. It's a really good shoe. Now, with all of that being said, do we happen to have time for a question of the day?
Who would you rather be? Bruce Wayne without the Batman persona, vehicles, or gadgets, or Tony Stark without the Iron Man persona and the Iron Man suits?
So would I rather be an orphan or an ass? Is that what I'm getting?
Well, I was thinking about it. Granted, I've only ever seen the one portrayal of Tony Stark. Like we've had
Are you talking about the movies?
Yeah, we've had many iterations of Bruce Wayne, cartoon, different actors who have worn the suit or non-suit, like, you know, Bruce Wayne. And for the most part, Bruce Wayne is very likable except for Christian Bale's portrayal of him.
Yes, but that's the thing though, is that that's the one part about that character overall that's different than somebody like Tony, is that Tony is Tony. Whether you like him or not, doesn't matter, that's him. Bruce is nothing. Bruce is an act that he puts on. Like the persona of this billionaire playboy, not philanthropist, because that is Tony, but you know, Bruce is just rich. Even though they do the same things, but you know, neither here nor there. Bruce is like, Bruce died, you know what I mean? Essentially, like if we're taking the mythos for what they are, Bruce died when his parents died. Like in that alley, that's the last day that that specific person was around. From there afterwards, he's something else. And he eventually turns into Batman. So like, I don't know how you do that character without Batman. You know what I'm saying? Like, who is he? I don't even think that he knows. I don't know if the writers would know. That would be a really interesting kind of like storyline. I guess that would be, or no, it wouldn't, because I was thinking originally like that would be like, what if the story was flipped where like he dies literally and the parents stay alive, but that did happen in Flashpoint. I'm not gonna spoil anything. All I'm gonna say is you should read it. It was awesome. So yeah, what would happen though? Like he is still Bruce, the tragedy happens, but he does not become Batman. Who is he? I don't know if anybody knows. I will say at the end of the day, I'm gonna roll with Bruce only because the cave is still there. So eventually, maybe he'll find it, or I would find it if I were to be Bruce. And
maybe you would just be a detective, like.
Well, I definitely. That is a weird question though. Who would you pick? Would you rather be Bruce without being Batman, or would you rather be Tony without being Iron Man?
Oh my God, it's like Sophie's Choice.
And with that being said, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for spending your time with us. We really do appreciate you guys. I hope that this was useful. I hope that it was fun. What do they call it? Edutained? You know what I mean? I don't know if anything was actually like entertaining in this video, but we'll see. But anyways, thank you guys for everything. I greatly appreciate it, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. So until then, y'all have a good one.